What's up, guys? Today I'm getting ready to get back in the DM saddle, so that means we got a little bit of prep to do. So let's get to it. It's gonna be a fun one. All right. So, what better way to introduce my kids to Dungeons and Dragons than the Lego D&D set? So I'm not gonna like build the whole thing. I'm just gonna build the first scene. The adventure, which is I printed off over there, is actually broken up into individual scenes, and it's like different steps of the build. So I'm gonna do the first build tonight, and do some more prep. And this will actually be my first time doing, what is it, 5.5? I don't know what they're calling it these days. This is a cool set. You know, I think it's gonna be great to get my kids introduced to Dungeons and Dragons. I started. I actually my very first role playing was Basic Fantasy RPG, and I think 2000. I was 10 years old, 10 or 11, so maybe 2001. But I begged my mom to print the Basic Fantasy RPG off at her work because back then it was hard to get printers like that at home, and finally got it. So I played a whole lot of Basic Fantasy RPG, and then DD Third Edition came out, and for me, Third Edition, like the not 3.5 but Third Edition, was the first Dungeons and Dragons that I ever played. But really, because I was playing Basic Fantasy RPG, I was pretty much playing Advanced D&D. But the first actual Dungeons and Dragons I ever played was Third Edition. Loved Third Edition. I was one of the few people apparently who loved it, and I think that's like the nostalgia, the rose tinted glasses for sure. But I also really loved Chainmail. They revamped Chainmail, and it used this version's of Third Edition's rules, so you could go back and forth from a tabletop skirmish game, which I think was amazing by itself, and into the RPG. So played a ton of that, and then 3.5 came out. Played a lot of 3.5. I was also one of the at the time, like I always loved Fourth Edition from the jump. I played World of Warcraft. I loved war games too. So for me, Fourth Edition was like the perfect game. I know that's probably sacrilege. I think a lot of people are coming around to just how good Fourth Edition was, though, in reality. But I loved the grid. I loved how tactical it was. I loved where it was like in-depth combat that you could also role play around. It's kind of how we played it, which was cool. I liked it. Sadly, I lost all my book collection in the storage shed incident I talked about before, but I'm slowly rebuilding my fourth edition collection back, and I actually have the fourth edition Dark Sun. I think it's the Ashes of Althus is how you say it. That I really want to do someday. Need to get a group for that. Fifth edition, I campaign. I DM'd a massive campaign. I think at one point in time we had 8 players playing at once. There was like 10 players total. We did it for almost a year, maybe even like a year and a half. I think, if I remember right. Made me hate the system. Hated fifth edition. So now I think this came out before the 5.5 edition came out. So I sold all my 5th edition books. I said I'll never DM it again. And now we're on 5.5. And I actually thought about maybe converting this to like OSE, which is what I love now. But I think I printed off the official Lego adventure that Lego company made, and they come with D&D character sheets. So I think we'll probably just run this as is because I don't want to have to do a ton of converting because I'm kind of knocking the rust off, and also it's not gonna be complicated because it's with my little kids, and hopefully we'll try to rope my wife into it. So if you're not familiar with this set, it comes with these 4 characters. They also made separate standalone outside of this set characters, which I think I have most of those, but there's a cleric or a dwarf cleric, a gnome fighter, an orc rogue, an elf wizard, and this book itself like has a history of D&D at the front. But I'm gonna dig into. I'm gonna get building. I don't plan on being a Lego channel, but I think this is just a cool crossover. So I'm gonna build this tonight. Do all my prep. I'm gonna run through show you the first couple pages of the actual adventure, and see where we're at. Boom. All right, here's the first bag. If you guys want to see the full build of this, let me know, and I'll time lapse all of it. But I don't really know. I don't think that's really what I want to get into. So there's that. It's really cool to build. I just want to give you an idea of like Lego's awesome. If you want to see the full time lapse build, let me know in the comment below. I'm gonna still build it, get recording, but now I want to get into the actual like. Okay, so Red Dragon's Tale, a Lego adventure. Credits, Wizards of the Coast, of course, good old WotC Lego group. The art on this is pretty cool. I'm hoping it comes with these skeletons. That'd be really cool if it does. So the way that this is structured, I actually really like, because it gives you just a quick tips to the DM, and I really like adventures. It gives you a little bit of information. Like this section right here is for the DM and the players to read, but it literally says like right here, players stop reading. The rest of this is for the DM. And what I think is actually really cool is I think they know that a lot of people might not be into Dungeons and Dragons when they're playing this, but it gives like the Dwarf Cleric wears good armor, whereas it wields an impressive weapon and channels both helpful and harmful magic through a holy symbol that embodies their faith. And then it goes into this very short, quick descriptions of like if you have no idea what these guys are doing, you're gonna know what they do. And with this specific adventure, there's actually an option to use D&D rules or go without D&D rules, which I think is pretty cool. If you do use the D&D rules, you of course need a handbook, player's handbook, DM's guide, and the monster manual. But that being said, and I printed this on accident. Oh God, my printer is never going to forgive me for that. But I don't want to read too far ahead because I don't want to spoil it. But they do give you the character sheets, so the character sheets are pretty cool. Simplified a little bit, but they start at level 5. But I think it's pretty awesome, you know. But they do give you blank character sheets to make your own, and I also printed off the other characters. But there is, they don't have the monster block stats for the official monsters, but somewhere in here, they do have the monster stat blocks for the custom monsters and the custom NPCs. And there's also a description of all the special magic items they made. But if you do run it with D&D, they expect you to use the D&D rules. So I'm kind of thinking I might still convert it to OSC, honestly. I need to read through it more. But it gives you the scenes to read to the players. It gives you, I like this a lot, it's the adventure progression. So scene 1 is in plain sight. That's the name of the inn we're building, is plain sight. So you have the plain sight build, and then there's the meadow next to it, which you can add on. And I believe that as you build it, it's modular. So you're actually like adding the scene out. Then there's a dungeon, a basement, the tower, and then the actual dragon itself. And so in the first scene, there's all this information about the encounter right here for the DM to go by, which I think is pretty cool. And on this one, I don't think there's really going to be that much prep because, one, again, it's for the kids. So I'm just going to kind of let them go where they decide to take it. Scene 2 looks like there's going to be a cool owl bear in it. That's the meadow. So doing a quick glance through this, it looks pretty spelled out in terms of like what's there, you know. Make sure the dungeon is fully assembled before running this part of the adventure. The player characters are most likely to arrive here via the door behind the awakened tree. Read the following aloud to set the scene. So it gives you things to read to your players. But if one thing I know, most likely to arrive here, it's probably not how they're going to arrive there. There's oozes. This actually looks pretty cool, and I don't think I really need to prep that much. Probably need to refresh myself on the actual player's handbook and that side of thing, but that's just like a personal thing to get back into the feeling of it. So this is the prep video, and tomorrow's video will have the actual. I'm not gonna record playing, just because this seems weird to put my kids on the internet, but it'll be like the post-mortem of how it went and the crazy stories we get up to. So I don't know if that's your thing. Probably not, but I'm going to do it anyway because I think it'll be cool to look back on, for me and the kids to look back on anyway. So definitely, this is free. So you can if you just Google Red Dragon's Lego Adventure, you can get this for free. You don't have to like make an account on Lego site or anything. It's on Wizards of the Coast CDN for free, indexed in Google. So I think that's it for me tonight. This was a huge family day, very awesome birthday. Painting wise, trekking away on these purples. It's very subtle. Like this is going to be hours and hours of glazes, and just working it up. It looks pretty not good right now on the purple. The white, I've started working in the shadows more. Again, it's all very subtle because it's just going to take a while to work its way up, you know. But hopefully by the end of the weekend, like going into Monday, I'm hoping that it'll actually look closer to the box art. because definitely put in a lot of time on him. And I thought I was under more of a time crunch than I really am, so I'm really going to pretty much go all out on that. My goal is this will be the best painted model I've ever painted. And I'm going to treat all of the Infinity models like that. And really, after I get this commission done, which I'm hoping is in like the next 2 to 3 weeks, I'm going to do a Dusk Army, which kind of under the same philosophy. That'll definitely be the best army I've ever painted. But thanks for watching. I don't really know if you guys want to see more of this kind of thing. Like I plan on doing a lot more Lego D&D stuff for sure. But I don't know. It was fun. Like, look, this is a really cool build. This minifigure is awesome. If I popped all of his hair off, he'd probably look. It could be me. And this is a very small part of the build, but very cool. And this is how it's gonna be modular. So it's gonna be modular. I plan on I'm building out a big base underneath this after I get this set built too. So thanks for watching, and let me know in the comments if you want to see a time lapse of the full build, because that could be pretty cool too. Hopefully. See you tomorrow.